Good afternoon, Year 5. Welcome to Monday's Wonder. We've got an exciting one this afternoon because I'm going to be introducing you to something that we are going to be doing over the course of the term, okay, and maybe a little bit into next term as well. Okay, so I'm going to get onto the details a little bit later, but for now, I want you to be starting to have a little think. So we're going to be getting our brains working now about what we know about this word engineering. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do then before we get started is I want you to look around the room and see if you can see any objects or items that you think have been engineered. So looking around the room that you're in. Have a little pause if you want to. Wonderful. So hopefully then you've had a look around the room and maybe you're thinking, I'm not really sure what engineering is. I don't know what items have been engineered. Or maybe you are thinking, actually, there's lots and lots of things in my room or in your house at home that have been engineered. Okay, I can see my laptop. I can see my visualizer. I can also see more simple things like my door. And I can see even simpler things like, for example, my water bottle, okay? All of these have gone through some kind of engineering process. And I'm going to show you now a long list, okay, of some examples of things in your home or in your lives that might have been engineered. Okay, so just standing out to me here, for example, I can see the word donuts. Now I'm wondering how donuts have been engineered. At school, we're going to have things like our staplers, our chairs, we've got obviously our laptops or our technology, sat-navs, libraries, books have been engineered somehow, trains, the London Eye, something as simple as a paperclip, okay? So you can see there's a wide range of things here that have been engineered. Some of these things have probably gone through a more complex engineering process. So for example, I imagine the London Eye has been through a very complex engineering process to get that to kind of work, to get that to be safe and so that it can carry people around on the wheel. Okay, whereas things like a paperclip, the process has probably been a little bit simpler. In fact, a lot simpler. So you can pause the video now if you want to have a look through this list a little bit more. It's not something that you need to remember. It's just to kind of show you the breadth of things that can be engineered. So lots and lots and lots. Okay, so engineering then, so actually moving on to what it actually is, okay, is everywhere, okay? So everywhere we go, we will find things that have been engineered, okay? So here it says engineering is everywhere in our homes, schools, offices and factories, on the roads, in the air, on and below the oceans, even in space and on other planets, okay? So for example, the clothes we wear, food we eat, the water that we drink, our phones, our computers, the music that we listen to, engineering is absolutely everywhere around us, and it's made the world that we live in possible. Okay, so engineers are people that do engineering and they solve problems. So for example, this might be building a bridge to get across get across a river. It might be designing a vehicle like a lorry to move things long distances. It might be something to do with travel, so building a ship or an airplane or even a rocket, okay, if you're traveling to space, okay. It might also be things that we need in the classroom, so building a desk or building an iPad or a Chromebook, for example. They're all examples of engineering, and these are all examples of how engineering has been used to solve a problem. So for example, we need a device for you to use in school so you can access the internet. Okay, so they solved that problem by engineering a Chromebook. Okay, so engineering is all about solving problems. What I want you to do now then, just as a little bit of a way to get us thinking about our current perceptions, is I want you to take a piece of paper and a pencil and I want you to draw what you think an engineer looks like. Okay, what do you think they'd be wearing? What do you think they might be doing? What do you think an engineer looks like? Pause the video and then you can play again when you're ready. Okay, so hopefully then you've had a little go, you've got thinking about what an engineer, so someone who does all of these jobs where they overcome these problems, what an engineer might look like. Now, I don't know about you, But if I was posed this question, I think that I would probably have some stereotypes, which means that I'd probably have some kind of thoughts that I already have about what an engineer might look like. So for example, I'd probably, when someone says engineer, I'd probably think of someone who is male. Okay, that is a bit of a stereotype because in the past, okay, maybe more engineers have been male, and that is kind of what people have been made to assume. Okay, however, the point of this is that anyone can be an engineer. Okay, so an engineer is probably something different to what you're picturing in your head. If I picture in my head what an engineer looks like, I'm probably picturing a male, and I'm probably picturing him doing something to do with designing maybe a car. Okay, but like we've already looked at, engineering can involve lots and lots of different objects from around our kind of worlds, and also an engineer can be anyone. Okay, so here then we've just got to show you, just for a little bit of inspiration, going against that stereotype, we've got some very successful female engineers as well. Okay, so we've got Lorna Bennett, and she is works in renewables, so that's all about kind of saving the planet and making us more sustainable. So she's an engineer who works with kind of energy sources. We've got Miriam Cristo Filetti. She's an electric engineer, so she works with electrics. We've got Sunita L. Williams. She is an astronaut, okay, which is pretty cool. So she's an engineer in space who works with NASA. And we've got Lulia Motok, who is a robotics engineer. So she essentially makes robots. Okay, so just some examples here to show you then anyone can be an engineer, regardless of kind of race, gender, background, okay? Lots and lots of people can become engineers. So what we're going to do now then is we're going to delve into what our project is actually going to be all about. So our project is a competition, and it's called If You Were an Engineer, What Would You Do? And this is kind of an external competition, so we're going to be competing against other schools as well. We're going to be submitting our entries to this competition, okay, at the end of the half term. And we're going to watch a little video now, which is going to explain it a little bit better than I probably can. So I'm just going to find the video. I'm going to share sound. Okay, here we go.
World of exciting, innovative, and creative roles in engineering. And here's how school pupils across the UK can design the future of engineering. If you were an engineer, what would you do? Is a free annual competition open to all pupils aged 3 to 19, supported by global engineering companies and leading universities. In 2018, over 37,000 pupils took part in the competition. They all met and interviewed engineers in person or in online interviews, and discovered that engineering is a lot more than they previously thought. It's about wanting to make the world a better place. From trampolines that charge mobile phones to solutions for clean water in developing countries, pupils wowed the judges from engineering companies and universities with their originality and inventiveness, all answering one question. If you were an engineer, what would you do? Pupils from each year group receive awards for their winning designs, and shortlisted and winning designs are displayed in public exhibitions around the country. Leading universities select from the winning designs, and teams of their engineers create them. Now that's inspirational. Find out how your school can be part of this extraordinary competition and register today.
Wonderful. So that has just given us then a little bit of a kind of overview of what our competition is all about. So it's a super exciting opportunity for us, because we're going to get to be a bit creative. We're going to get to enter the competition. Obviously in year 5 we are quite competitive, so we are going to be working super duper hard to make our entries as good as they possibly can. And over the next few weeks, you'll be learning more and more about kind of what engineering is and what you will have to do for your competition. But ultimately, you are going to be solving a problem by coming up with your own design, which we're going to go into more when we come back to school next week. Okay, so this just gives you a little bit more information about the competition. So, and it's talking a little bit about the steps that we're going to go through over the next few weeks. So we're going to be interviewing an engineer, which I'm going to talk to you about in a moment. Then we're going to be identifying a problem, coming up with our solution, and then we are going to be entering that into the competition. Okay, so that's going to be kind of our project. I will give you a little sneak hint. We are going to be basing our project around sustainability as well. So those eco warriors among us, this is going to be a great opportunity for you. So what we're going to be doing then, this is just a few examples of designs that children have submitted before as well. So we are going to be submitting a kind of similar design to the competition. So the purpose of today's lesson then, I'm showing you the what, how and the why quite close to the end, just because I wanted to talk about the competition first, is to understand what an engineer is and reflect on what we want to learn more about, how by exploration of the world, and why, so we can prepare for our interview with an engineer. So very excitingly then, now that we've learned a little bit more about what an engineer is, tomorrow we are going to be having a Zoom, and we're going to be having a Zoom with somebody called Matt Wilson, and they are going to be a very special guest because they are a real life engineer and they are from Derby as well. Okay, so they are very local to us and they work at an engineering company in Derby. So we're going to be super duper lucky because we're going to get to interview our very own engineer. He's going to come and he's going to talk to us a little bit about what it means to be an engineer and what his job involves. But you guys are also going to get a chance to ask him questions to find out what you would like, to find out more and find out what you would like to know about his job as well. So what I'd like you to do today then is start to think about what you're going to ask Matt tomorrow on the Zoom to find out more about being an engineer. Okay, when you do this, remember, so when you're thinking about your questions, please remember that you are actually going to be doing your engineering project yourself. So could you ask Matt some questions which might help you when you come to do this? So could you ask him for some top tips about being an engineer? Okay, so you can kind of ask two types of questions. Firstly, kind of about what does it mean to be an engineer? Ask Matt about his job and what he enjoys about it, how he became an engineer, and also you can get some tips for when you do your project as well. And I'm sure he will be happy to share his expertise. So that's your job for today then, is to come up with some questions that you would like to ask Matt tomorrow. Please send them to us so we can see kind of what you're thinking and how you've got on with this. Maybe we can also kind of use those to guide our Zoom tomorrow. The link for the Zoom will be on the timetable. It'll be at 1:30. It's a really, really great opportunity for you guys to kind of have an expert in their field tell you more about engineering rather than Miss Syson and I, because obviously we are not engineers. Okay, and it's really good as well because you get to talk to someone from outside of school who is going to be very kindly sharing their expertise with us as well. So we can't wait to see as many of you as possible there tomorrow. Zoom link 1:30 on the timetable, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, let us know how you get on with this. So send us your questions and we'll see you later. Goodbye.